evening. You're listening to Adrenaline Radio, 1680 AM on your dial. I'm Fred Blanchard, host of Adrenaline Motorsports, and Steve Montrelli's back with us again. And all that time, you were running cast iron blocks, or did you switch to aluminum? How did it evolve? I guess that's what it boils down to.
Well, originally it was steel blocks, regular factory steel blocks, and then somewhere along the line there, 1973, 74, we had gotten a Rodak block, which was a replica of a steel block.
Was it the 481 they called it?
Right, the 481,
yeah.
And it didn't have any water in it. So up
solid block, in other words.
So
okay.
up in the where the water jackets would be, that's why we had to make a 3-push rod motor, because there was no way to get the push rod in there. So now that one day we're sitting there, and I was.
Is this the time that you changed the lifter bore angles in this
Yes,
thing?
sir.
Uh-huh.
Sitting in the back by eating lunch by the valve grinder one day, and I had the Rodak block sitting up here, and it was like in October, November after the season had changed, and I had a steel block sitting on the bench.
Is this still in the 70s we were doing this?
73, 74, right in there. This is the start of the aluminum stuff. And so, I don't know, I was playing around, and I said, well, this block, we could make a 2-push rod motor out of it. So I had got a hold of Tom, which was our pattern maker, and I had called Nick.
That's Tom Roberts, yeah.
Right, I called Tom Roberts across the street, and I called Nick down at the piston shop and said, we need to get together this afternoon. It looks like this Rodak block will take a 2-push rod head, or rocker arm assembly. So we looked at it, and lo and behold, the next day we were getting drawings made, and 6 months.
So this is the beginnings of what?
8.3 liter.
That was the
2-push rod.
All-out drag race engine, in other words. Okay.
Right. So 6 months later, 24 hours a day, nonstop, we had in the machine shop making parts, and we came up with the first aluminum cylinder heads, 2-push rod. The valve cover, which had the Chrysler spark plug tube, so that's all what all of the Hemis had. The Chevy, the 3-push rod motor had a 2-piece valve cover type thing.
We were actually discussing the evolution of the Arius Hemi Chevy and how it evolved into a second engine creation, again with Steve's help in the development of the Arius 8.3 liter engine. And that is the complete all-out hardcore race engine, and it got away from being a Chevrolet, even though the dimensions of the engine block were somewhat the same. The various components, such as the head studs and the lifter bore angles, and the fact that it became an aluminum block, it started to change and configure itself into a hardcore, true hardcore race engine that, again, with the help of Steve Montrelli and at the time being with the Arius Industry program, it was Steve pretty much that started promoting the product and developing the various aspects of what that engine basically is today. And the engine, by the way, I must say, is running today under a different name, of course, but again, it's gone through several aspects of change in its materials and what have you, and many others have run it. But the original concept was done there at Arius with Steve's help, and it is basically run hard and running strong again today. That engine has been a mainstay of a lot of aspects of not only drag racing and boat racing, but also in the areas of tractor pulls and that type of thing, which is very big in the Midwest and East Coast. They have multiple engines in these tractors, again, the derivatives of this Arius 8.3. And I'm sorry to blab on here, Steve. You were telling your story about how you got it into the boats and how your first customer was and what have you. And I thought that was way cool. And I'm going to kind of switch gears here now, Steve. We talked a little bit about the past and how things are and what is now. And before I leave the area of engines, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on my Bonneville project. And as we all know who have been around engines of various kinds and types, all the bolt-on accessories that you buy to bolt on don't quite bolt on. So there's a lot of things there that all of a sudden was supposed to fit, didn't quite fit because you had something a little bit different, and it even includes taking a complete engine that you think you're finished with, and then mounting it in the framework of a dynamometer to do the testing, and it doesn't even fit the framework. So that's been my week, as a matter of fact, because we had high hopes of being involved with the first event of the SCTA, which is the Southern California Timing Association. We thought we were going to run at the Dry Lakes here on May 15th and 16th. And it looks like we're not going to be able to meet that event only because of so many little things that, including the bolt-on accessory part of it. So that's kind of set us back a little bit, but best to be safe and not rush into anything. And the bottom line here is we want to run the car at Bonneville and have everything right as right can be under the circumstance, and that's our goal. And again, it's an Arius derivative, and again, that's what brought this whole conversation about, is to bring it to this direction. But again, it's become an extreme hybrid, and I doubt if anyone has ever seen anything like this. It's gone through its evolution, and it doesn't even resemble a Chevrolet anymore. Because I don't think there's a part on there from the factory. I think it's all aftermarket components. And with the expertise of many of those who came before us in the development of these parts, I'm fortunate enough to have something as nice as that, and to go to Bonneville and try and get a good run in, or a couple of good runs, and get our licensing all together, and then step up and see if we can do something with it after that. And the hill climb is still getting steeper, so that's our goal, and that's our direction.